Good morning, traders. Today is Thursday, December 2nd. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. All right, what are we looking at here this morning? Well, my overnight inventory isn't loading. What's the deal with that overnight inventory? So essentially what we're looking at here is we are trading inside the spike from yesterday. So I'm considering from the area where the M period broke the L period to the downside, that is a spike down. And we are opening inside that spike here today. As a matter of fact, the overnight pretty much traded almost completely in it. And it seems like the resistance was right at the base of that spike. So that to me is bearish, right? It's sort of neutral to bearish. It's not the most bearish thing to open inside the spike, but with the fact that we're below that 50 daily average, and just with the, today's not a normal day in the market, right? So there's, special circumstances happening, which is the market's in the middle of a massive correction. So, to me, it's more bearish than normal that we are opening in this spike down. So I am looking for further downside continuation today as the highest probability. To convince me otherwise, they got to get back above that 50 daily moving average and find support. So that's again right where this big node of volume and time was spent in the overnight. We'd have to get above there. Come back down, find some support in here before I'd be looking for continuation higher. Okay. Otherwise, my assumption is bearish, that we have a further pullback ahead of us. And my target to the downside is going to be the 100 daily moving average. If you don't find support at the 50, the 100 is the next stop. So that would be down there at 44.7775 currently. So that would be the next target to the downside. There's also still weakness below. Okay, the market is open. There's still weakness below in some gaps that we left behind. If we go to the SPX, we can see them. So we got these gaps right here, okay, that need to be backfilled. So those also are potential targets to the downside. Just looking at the SPX, it looks like this trend line from way back in the day. It's going to correspond nicely with that 100 daily moving average. So looking for support there. Overnight inventory was completely balanced. So that doesn't necessarily imply the market has to push one way or another. We are pushing higher though. So once again, looking for resistance right around this area where the overnight market spent so much time up in here. And at that 50 daily, that 50 daily moving average. Which is literally right at the base of the spike. That's interesting. And if we can't get back above there, I think we're going to have more selling here today. S&P Attic, good morning to you. Welcome. Jay Trader, good morning to you. Ray Miller, good to see you. Welcome. Scooball, hello. Trading Donkey saying it's a sell the rip market when the daily is one time framing lower. I wouldn't make that argument just because the daily is one time framing lower, but I would make that argument that's what today's market is. Unless we can get above that 50 daily and then come back down and find support. Bob, good morning to you. Two Manifs, good morning to you. Steven, good to see you. Welcome. Philip is here. Good morning to you. All right, passing back through the opening price here. So if you wanted to be super cautious, you could play the same game with the low from yesterday. If they get below it, come back up and find resistance. You short there. And just to have some targets in mind to the downside, that first gap fill is going to be 44.79.75. The second gap fill is 44.31. Adventure DJ, good morning to you. Jose, good to see you. Good morning to my friend from Belarus. Mike, would Bulls hope could start lower and rally sometime this morning? Yeah, of course. All right. It could always rally. It can always turn around and go up. That is for sure. It's just a matter of asking yourself what that would look like. How would you know the market is rallying? What would it do? In my case, they'd get above that 50 daily, which is also the base of the spike down. So because it's the base of the spike down, it should be resistance, okay, as it was in the overnight. And because it's the 50 daily, it's going to be a level that bigger swing trader players are watching very closely. So it's a very important level. If they can get above that and come back down and find support, they could turn around and head right back up. Internals looking bullish so far this morning. Vincent, good morning to you. Welcome. David Glass back with us. Good to see you. John is here. Good morning to you. Manifs. Am I still saying that wrong? Why do I have such a hard time with that name? Joe Park, good morning to you. I assume you're back in Korea, chilling at home. David V, good morning to you. Nicholas, good morning. Charles, where's the 100 daily? The 100 daily is at 44.77.75. I might as well mark that on the chart. Right under that gap. All right. Well, this is bullish to see, getting back above that important level we've been discussing. Should have found some resistance there, but we pushed right through it. So that is a little bit bullish to see. I want to see us get a little bit higher and then come down and find support in there. Before I trust that the bulls are taking the reins here. Trading Donkey, how about the 200? Well, let's get through the 100 and then we'll worry about the 200. Daily moving average. One at a time. All right, so we're starting to build some support. I would have liked to have seen a bit more of a pop, but we're building some support in here. So this is bullish to see. Let's see if they can hold it. JG, good morning to you. Kevin, good morning to you. Welcome back. Sanju, good morning. Peter, good to see you. Mike, totally, bro. 9th business day and 11th day since 11/22. I mean, totally. Couldn't agree more. All right. Well, it appears the bulls want to buy the dip. So let's see what they got for us. Can they sustain it? So potential resistance to the upside is going to be the base of the L period single prints at 45.71. Also, we got the 20 moving averages on the 15-minute candles here. Those could both act as resistance as well. But they seem to want to go test it. Oh, also the overnight high. We might run out of steam there as well. That is another one at 51 or 45.52. Jitten, would you not consider L period part of the spike? I absolutely would. I was looking at that yesterday, and the reason I decided to make the M period, the spike down, I'm trying to recall. Oh, because there was like a poor low there. What was it? There was some reason why I decided to make the break of the L period low, the base of the spike. But yeah, normally the spike is like anywhere in the last hour of the day. Oh, that's right. It was because this was a poor low. Yeah, yeah. So the market was just trending down, and it had created a poor low. And so the L period I just saw as further continuation of the trend. Making it just regular single prints. But the base of single prints functions the same as the base of a spike as resistance on the way back up. So, tomato, tomato, it's all pretty much the same. But it would be fair to call that the spike. Let's pop over and take a look at the Q. See what the Q's doing this morning. Looks like it's about the same as the ES. Okay, same story. Spike yesterday. But we opened below the spike. Oh, we opened with a gap down on the Q. So that is the most bearish scenario if you open below a spike down. I would also call the low this morning a poor low. I don't know what day this was from. I forgot to mark the date, but it stopped right at a previous week reference and one tick from the overnight low. So I would call that a poor low on the Q this morning. So not quite as bullish as the ES. So at this point with the NQ, you could look at this area where, I mean, we're literally trading into it right now, this area where we put in the volume this morning and in the overnight. If this cannot hold as support, we're likely to head back down. At the very least, backfill these low volume nodes right around halfback. So that's like 869 to 890. That area needs some backfilling. So if we can't hold it up here, we're probably heading down to there. And if we break yesterday's low, once again, pass back through that, we're likely to get pretty bearish on the Q. Screwball, Pirate Traders, is that a place for you to take a long or is it too risky? I'm not sure when you commented that. I would say right now it's too risky to go long. That pullback into here was a good buy at like 41. And of course, now you could move your stop a tick above break even. But I wouldn't buy it up here just yet because there's going to be resistance when we get to the base of the single prints. Thank you, J Trader. Please smash that like button. Gently push it. Give the pirate a thumbs up if you feel so inclined. Nunez, can your private video be replayed somewhere? Yeah, if you go to piratetraders.io/live, you'll see it down at the bottom of the page. I've got them all archived. Donkey's got himself a little sticky note that says sell the rip. So he's looking for resistance to short rather than going with the long trade, which is at this point still fair. We're only in the A period. But the internals do look good. Kevin, how do the ES numbers translate to SPY price? Yeah, that's tricky. If you're going to trade SPY, I recommend you just look at SPY's chart. So the markets will move in tandem with each other, but the price levels will never match up. And SPY is even a little bit different than SPX in that it kind of does its own thing. So if you're going to trade SPY, I recommend you just watch SPY. You can watch the ES for movement, right? You can recognize, okay, on the ES, when we get up to 45.71, we're likely to get some resistance in there. But you can't like plot where that exact number will be on the SPY. So you just kind of know, okay, we got some resistance coming, but you don't know exactly where. Oh, Screwball was asking at support at the base of the spike. Yeah, that would have been a gorgeous entry. Gorgeous. Once it got above there and came back down and found support, it never tested it again. It was like, later, bro. It went up to the overnight high. It came back down. It built support above that level. And it has continued higher from there. So that would have been a gorgeous entry. Phoenix, good morning to you. Welcome. Donkey. He meant the other private video. Listen, we don't talk about that on the public stream. Those are just for the community, okay? Jay, the government cut a deal to avoid a shutdown. Let me guess. It's very short term. They're going to have to redebate in a month. You don't even have to tell me. I just assume that's what it's going to be. NQ's finding some resistance at the overnight high. Yeah, just starting to poke above there now. That is also, I pointed that out yesterday during the private stream. It kind of feels like the NQ is on a massive balancing area, like a huge one. And that's just starting to poke up into that balance area. So once again, as always, getting above there and coming back down and finding support would be great for continuation to the opposite end. But they too have resistance above. So it won't be easy. The bulls are going to have to earn it if they want to get continuation higher today. Chitten. When do they announce the Megatron virus? I don't know. You know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it does feel strange how they always seem to come out with these things right at pivotal moments in terms of market structure. It could just be that's the way the universe works, but it does seem very strange. All right, market finding some resistance here. Trailing my stop a little bit. Mike, it's because we live in a simulation. Yeah, bro. You won't have a hard time convincing me of that. It feels that way all the time. All right, so we got a little poor high in the B period. We expect to get a push away from a poor high, but at some point come back and repair it. Danielle, good morning to you. Adventure DJ. Uh, agree with the timing on the news. Let's be honest. They're still banging on about the world being round. I know. All these idiots thinking the world is round. Uh, trying to convince us we've been to the moon. Come on. All right, there's the repair of the poor high. Still working our way back, filling those single prints from yesterday. Looking for some potential resistance right at the base. 71.50. Looks like that's about where we'll bump into the 20 moving averages as well, which could potentially act as resistance. And Q's back in the 16s. Let's take a look at the Q. Did it get back into that balancing area? Yes, sir. Back in the balance again. Can we hold it up this time and head to the opposite direction? Back to the ES. Okay, working our way into some resistance here. Couple of points higher. Chris Tark. What is the target? Well, yeah, we could blow through it, so it's not necessarily like we have to find resistance. But this 20 moving average on the 15-minute candles right here, both indices. Looks like we're getting a little bounce right off of that. And then just above, we have the base of the single prints down from the L period. So the base of single prints often acts as resistance if they're down or support if they're up. So we're likely to have to really work our way through that level. But if we do, we can come back down and find support and get continuation. A larger target would be, that channel that Donkey was talking about yesterday. So we've started kind of a downtrending channel. And so, the odds would favor. I kind of need to redraw it now. Like that. So the odds would favor that when you bounce off of one end, you head to the other, bounce off the other end, head to the other. Didn't quite make it there, but head to the other, bounce off the other end. That would be the target to the upside. But also sometimes with channels, you only get halfway. You get like 50%, which is right where we are. So that's just another reason we could find support here. Find resistance here. Philip, looks like the ES took out the single prints from the M period. Correct, it did. Like butter in the first 5 minutes of the day. It had no problem taking those out. Mike, that's a steep channel. Yes, sir. Stairs up, elevator down. When the market is selling, it's selling out of panic. It's much easier to get people to panic than to get them to get greedy on the way up. So it happens very quickly. It's fear on both ends. That's what I find so interesting about it. It's fear of missing out on the way up. And it's fear of losing on the way down. It's fear on both ends that motivates the movements of the market. Uh-oh. Looks like pretty strong resistance there. Starting to get those ticks back below the zero line. I am back to neutral until we get support and get back through this node right here. So this node was support, right? Kept coming in there and then pushing higher. Now that we've gotten through it, it might become resistance. So we got to get back through that to get me bullish again. Otherwise, we'll need to pull back down looking for support down here. It is worth noting, though, that resistance was just that 20 moving average on the 15-minute candles. So that's just bots. There's an algorithm that clearly sells every time you push into it. So it didn't take much to reverse this market, which is bearish. Okay, so it's bearish that the NQ just looked into that balancing area and immediately sold off. That's a sign of a rejection of getting back into the balance, and usually a sign the market needs some excess to the downside. Poor low back in play. Diego, short 50. When I first read that, I was like, short 50? 50 fucking contracts? You're a madman. And then I realized you meant the price 50. Gotcha. 'Jitten, I'm with you. I'm not going to get bearish on the ES. If I was just trading the Q, I'd be bearish right now. If all I was looking at was the NQ, I would be like, we're heading back down to repair that poor low. But with the ES, we could find support at that 50. So I'll wait and see what happens there. $117 people watching, 48 likes. If you appreciate the pirate, give me the thumbs up. If you don't, give me the thumbs down. I can take it. Let me know how you feel. Oh, Diego, you are a short-term trader. You are a scalper. That's cool. Sing a song or thumbs down. What about your dancing monkey? All right, ticks are starting to trend down. Advancers versus decliners are rolling over. All it took was the bots at the 20 moving average on the 15-minute candles to cause a sell-off. That's pretty weak. So all eyes on the 50 daily moving average to see if that can give us some support. If not, going down. Ding, ding. Yeah, S&P addict. If you're short from 41.48, you're getting crushed right now. Uh, targeting 45.15. Yeah, I mean, if we get back through that 50 daily, I think we got some selling that's going to happen. We got a gap below that needs filling. And then looking for support at that 100 daily, 77.50. All eyes on this area right here. There's plenty of reason to find support. We got the halfback. But we also got pretty weak volume getting up there. So below this level, things get bearish. I think the Christmas rally normally kicks in closer to Christmas, though, doesn't it? It's like the middle of December. So it's still early yet. It's all emotion. It's just like around Christmas time, people are happier. You know, they get to see family. People are being nice to one another. Everybody gets presents except for dad, who just gets a tie and a pair of socks. The atmosphere is just better. People don't feel bearish around Christmas. Jay Trader, do bots celebrate Christmas? It's a great point. Uh, it's a very good point. All right. Well, the buyers are coming in. They're trying to keep those ticks up. They're fighting a good fight. But the downside is if the market pushes back lower, they're going to get squeezed. Mike, is that true? That is disappointing. Why don't the unvax just like take a COVID test, the day before or whatever, and then go to the regular Christmas? Jay Trader, I haven't had coffee yet today. I didn't get to make a cup before we started. So I'm waiting till the private stream when I can dip out, make some coffee. Speaking of which. All right, so like I said before, there's potential that this node here that was acting as support could become resistance. So as we push up into these pink and red volume candles, or volume nodes, sorry, we look for resistance there, meaning the ticks start to sell off again. And like I said, if we now we're playing the game, right? We're bouncing between these two levels. If we break back below this current support, you're going to squeeze out everybody who's going along right now. And that could be the slingshot down. Whereas if this resistance holds, it could give you a good risk reward entry because you could put your stop right there on a short. Jay, let's go. Which way do you want it to go, Jay? Up or down? To the moon. To the moon. All right, we're testing this node that was previously support. Will it become resistance? Also looks like we're about to retest that 20 moving average on the ES on the 15-minute candles. All right, and with that, I'm going to bid you all farewell. Au revoir. Have a great rest of your day. If you are not a member of the Brigade, it's pretty easy. You just click that link in the description, and then you just fork out $10 whole 10 smackaroos. And then you get to hang out every day, all month long. It's a party in the private stream. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and we will see you here tomorrow morning. CCT, it's a party. Yes, it's a party. Maybe your definition of party is different than mine, but I find it to be a party.